What up, people? I am back for another video. I'm reviewing a movie that my friend Stieg recommended me. It's called American Cyborg Steel Warrior, which from Canon Films, which, you know, some of their films are more, it's kind of like Trauma. Not all of them. They're actually, Canon has made some good ones, but then they've made some, memes. But this one, it is straight up a Terminator ripoff, and that's probably what I'm going to title it. Terminator ripoff, like, blatantly. Like, they even use the word Cyberdyne in the opening, and you even have, like, granted there was a World War III, but you relatively have the similar premise. World War III happens, and then, nuke goes off, artificial intelligence takes over, and basically all the women are sterile besides one. She manages to escape, and basically, this assassin, Terminator, basically, has to go get her, and essentially this is a long chase film. I mean, there's the only other character is John Ryan, he's basically another cyborg who's there to protect her. And I also say has a little Mad Max influence, because like a lot of the crazy outfits and this like dystopian, so it's a mix of Terminator and Mad Max. I do like it though. It's even, like I'll say it again, it's a blatant Terminator ripoff at times. And yeah, it's a giant chase scene. Like, basically they have to go to A to B. The cyborg attacks them, and then they have to fight it off. And then they have some of the kung fu, the martial arts was killing me. And basically they have to get her to Europe so she can get out of the country, basically. So that's pretty much the movie. It's kind of like Streets of Fire, if you remember that movie I reviewed a couple months back, where they got to get this girl to aid him. It's that kind of movie. So, but overall, I'd probably give it like a 8 out of 10. Not 8, okay, that's a little high. Maybe like a 7 out of 10 for, like, just, it was a dumb, fun movie. Yeah, it's a blatant Terminator ripoff, but I thought John Ryan was a fun character, and that's when he first is introduced. I'll say when she gets attacked by this, like, I don't know what to call it, like trainee gang. I don't know what to call it, I don't know what, they were like dudes in like makeup, and it was weird. But that's why I was saying a little Mad Max, just because of some of the out there kind of designs. But I do like it. It knows what it is. I can have fun with it. Yeah, it's like I said, it's a blatant Terminator ripoff, and like I think that's why I like it though. I respect that it's just blatantly a Terminator ripoff, and they're like, fuck it, excuse me, we're gonna be blatant about it and not give a fuck. So the final fight was okay. I mean, they had to. I mean, yeah, you could say it can be kind of repetitive. Like, they have to get to point A to B. They take the girl wherever this location. Cyborg comes. They escape. You have a quiet moment for a bit, and then the cyborg shows up again. Yeah, so it is a little repetitive, but it's fine. I mean, there's a lot of movies you can almost point that to, though. Like, so I'm not gonna really hold that against this one. It knows what it is. Effects don't really look good, I'll admit. I did like the cyborg though. I thought he was a pretty solid villain. Actually kind of he said lines, but he didn't talk a lot. I'm actually okay with that. I actually think it kind of made it scarier almost, him not really talking. So tomorrow I'm gonna be doing Insidious 2, so I can't wait to do that. And also I'm gonna do a Punisher Warzone probably like in the morning. If not the morning, it will be like in the afternoon during the day. So at some point, so that'll be the plan tomorrow. But let's get into American Cyborg Steel War. I gotta think, Stig. I liked it. It knows what it is. Solid, dumb fun movie. Like it didn't take itself seriously. I mean, and I love how blatant it just Terminator. I mean, essentially, like you had this similar premise to Terminator. More, I would say it ripped off more two, because you had like the two cyborgs. You had the one bad one, and then you had the good one, basically. Though the bad one, well, obviously, was more of a ripoff of Arnold from the first movie. And then you had John, who I guess he's almost human-like. So, and I thought, I'll say, to be fair, I'll say this too. I thought John and the girl, Nicole, I think is her name. I thought he and her had decent chemistry, well enough, like not the most amazing chemistry, but decent enough chemistry in the movie that it worked. At least it was tolerable. So, anyway, let's get into it. Basically, we kind of, obviously get that backstory of what happened and why. And else, not for nothing, they really did. I thought did a decent job with the set design, and they at least tried to make it like the world felt lived in, even if it didn't look the best. The world at least still felt lived in. So basically, we find out all the women are sterile and are basically held in like this camp. But the one that's actually able to get pregnant manages to escape, and basically they send a cyborg after him. And I thought the guy who played him did a good job. Like so so we get kind of a big chase scene between the two for a little bit. And this is where we meet John Ryan. I think it's the character's name. He saves her from this like transvestite tranny gang. I don't know what to call it. Like dudes in granny panties basically is what it looks like. So no. So yeah, he saves them, and basically they connect. Obviously he protects her, and he's gonna take her to. She's trying to get to a boat to Europe. Then basically, yeah, that's the rest of the movie is kind of just they get to this place. Like one of the scenes, John's making a trade with an old friend. Then that gets attacked by the cyborg. Fights it off. Cyborg kind of beats up um John for a little bit. Then they kind of like manage to either escape or they kind of shoot it and injure it, and basically the cyborg can kind of heal itself. Um, and that's kind of like a lot of the movie. Like I know I'm not really going in a lot of detail, but it's one of those movies. It's kind of straightforward, and that's what I mean. It's just a giant chase. So they get to a place, then yeah, we get a fight, and then they have to fight it off for a little. I actually think the choreography though for the fighting is actually not bad for a movie. I'm assuming the budget was probably not a lot. They actually did, at least they tried with the choreography. It looked like they actually tried. So, but basically it culminates with them obviously managing to destroy the cyborg, and basically I don't know if they were trying to set up a sequel. um John and Nicole basically, oh yeah, no, obviously throughout the film they eventually hook up, and yeah, they had decent chemistry. And obviously she wants him to go with her to raise their baby, but he has to protect and fight against the. I don't know if this was supposed to be like a sequel tease, because that's what it felt like to me a little bit. Like they were like, "Oh, I'm going to stay and do this fight," and maybe they were trying to do another movie, after they destroy the cyborg. The cyborg in general, the actor who played him did a pretty good job at portraying him, and he didn't like. Obviously, he was trying to kind of copy Arnold, but he still made it his own relatively. Like its blood could kind of heal like the Terminator. That's not in Terminator. So, and like I'm gonna say that again about the set design. Like the world felt lived in, which that's something to me that there's not enough of in some newer movies. So even a movie like this, which is a lower budget, they still managed to make the world feel lived in. So, but I enjoyed it. The acting is all right. Obviously from some characters, the acting was pretty bad, but I can get over it. I'm not expecting A+ acting in the movie like this, so. But yeah, um, I enjoyed it. The soundtrack was actually pretty good. Like it had like that. They still brought in that like, it. I don't know if I would say synthy, but it had that like sci-fi, you know, you know, beat to it. And I like it. So, but overall, I like the movie. I gotta thank Steve again for recommending this to me. I genuinely enjoyed it for what it was. Obviously, it's not the most amazing. If I'm being objective, I'm probably gonna give it like a 7. I think it, even though it's a blatant Terminator ripoff, and I know some people will say it's a bad Terminator ripoff, but I'm gonna be honest. I'd watch this before probably a lot of the Terminator sequels. Like maybe not like Terminator, maybe even Terminator. I didn't hate Terminator 3, and Salvation was pretty okay, but like compared to like Genesis, which I didn't hate either, but if I had to pick, I'd probably watch this one, and then definitely Dark Fate, like Dark Fate. Ugh. Anyway, guys, tomorrow Insidious 2. I cannot wait to watch that. I want to see where they go with it. So from what I hear, or I've been told, is that it's basically it pulls a Halloween 2. Like it continues right where the first one ended. So can't wait for that. Punisher Warzone, which I love that movie. I do. I know it's not as good as the Thomas Jane one. Like the Thomas Jane one is just so good. A lot of people look down on Warzone. I think it's still a good movie. I think Jigsaw is a great villain, to be honest. And then when he finally, him and his brother were both like pretty good antagonists. Like you wanted them to get theirs, you couldn't wait. Um, and I like that it leaned more into kind of like the comic book style Punisher. I mean, I think the Thomas Jane one relatively, but Thomas Jane one I still say was more like action movie first though than like just trying to make it more of a. I felt like this was leaning into the because there are Punisher comics. Like there's a scene where he punches like literally through a dude's face, not all the way through, but like really like there are Punisher comics like that, you know. So I'm okay with that. So, but I'm gonna be talking about that tomorrow in like in the the afternoon, I'll say, and then in the evening, Insidious 2. So, but overall, I liked American Steel, Cyborg Steel Warrior. So 7 out of 10. But cheers, and I'm gonna peace out. All right,